Okay, I'm out here at Rapps Dam Bridge. The bridge is right over there. I'm parked right about there. I'm going to talk about all the stuff over there towards the end of this video. Right now I'm walking along Perkiomen Creek Trail, I believe is what the name of this is. And this ditch that you see right here is the mill race for the Snyder mill, which is that building right there, and we'll get to that later. But right now I'm walking along this trail following the mill race down there, headed over to Rapps Dam, where this video will pick up. So I will see you once I get to Rapps Dam. Alright, we're up here at the site of the dam, Rapps Dam. What you're looking at right now is the mill race, and the mill race goes under there. I don't know what was here before, if they built this up to go over it or whatnot, but that is the mill race. Goes under the trail up to that point. This is the site of where all the water would come in. That's the gate there. That's the mill race going that way. This is the other side of the gate. And right here, underneath the pedestrian bridge, should be the remains of the dam. I believe that's part of the dam right there. It's got the concrete on top of it now, but that could be something different. But the dam was here, in this area. There is a one last look there. You can see there was probably a gate or something here as well, or at least a beam to cross. That's a view of the door. Alright, back to what I was doing, because I think it might rain again. I'm doing this in between rainstorms. But there is a sign over here that tells you about it. You guys can pause it and read, but I'll give you an idea of what it says. It was first dammed, French Creek was first dammed in this location in 1776 when the Continental Congress called for the creation of a mill to make gunpowder for George Washington's troops in the Rev War. You can still see the mill race, which I showed you. It was created to direct the water from the dam to the mills. It was dug by hand, flowed through the sluice gate in front of you, which was that spot right there, and into the mill race, onto the mill site next to present-day Rapps Dam. You can see some of the pictures, what it kind of looked like in 1905. Concession stand. Yeah, that's probably some of the early 1900s stuff that I was saying, like that concrete there, because there was a camp here. There was camp, you know, in the early 1900s, campers, you know, Rapps Meadow, concession stand at Rapps Dam. Right here it says, after the war, the dam continued to supply water to a series of mill operations, and you'll see the mills later. The dam, bridge, and road are named for George Rapp, who ran the mill complex at the turn of the 20th century. 1935, the last operating mill burned, marking the end of it. In 1938, the township created a picnic area here. As you can see, it's no longer a picnic area, but it's back to its natural state. There are benches and picnic tables, and you can come out here and enjoy yourself. It is peaceful here. We'll cross to the other side of the bridge and take a quick look over there. People used to swim here and all that, and everything was here until the polio epidemic of the 1950s. That put a stop to all the fun. So, yep, 1950s, this was no longer a picnic grove. Polio stopped that. I apologize for any wind, but you can see a lot of the concrete remains of probably the picnic grove concession, remnants of the dam that were concreted over in the 20th century. But the water is a little high, I think, because of the heavy rain we just got. But this whole area was probably the meadow where all the camping and stuff took place. I'll probably do another video exploring this area. Yeah. See what's what. Alright. I'm now going to walk back towards the mills. There's a couple things I want to show you along the trail, so I'll bring you back when I get back over to those. Okay, this area I'm coming up to has another one of the signs. On this side of the trail is the mill race. Down at the bottom of the incline, you can kind of see a little dirt spot there is the bottom, and then it rises back up. That's the mill race. That's the direction to the dam, so the water would be flowing that way. But on this side, you can see it's hills, open there a little bit, but right up in there, right there, are the remains of a building. I'll try to get a little closer and a better view. But that is part of the gunpowder that was here in 1775, 76. But that did not have anything to do with the gunpowder. Pause that so you can read it, but I'll hit the cliff notes. That they already had the gunpowder mill was Powderworks was on the other side of the mill that we're headed to, and I'll show you that location as well. This was the gun factory. The powder mill was up and running, so the Committee of Safety relocated a gun factory from Philadelphia to this site, right to there in this area here. I don't know how many buildings were here. That stone one is all that's left. It was under constant threat from British raids, so the committee deployed a company of militia to guard the mill. So there was a militia campsite around here as well. It was probably up on top of the hill, to be honest. But 9 months into the production of the guns here, the powder mill exploded. And I'll tell you all about that when we get over to the powder mill. The powder mill was never rebuilt. At least there's no evidence of it was ever being rebuilt. But the gun factory remained here and continued to make guns and arm the troops. So a little bit of a birth of our nation right here is where guns were being made for the American troops. You can kind of see the wall right there. I apologize for the lighting. It's getting windier and a bit darker, so try to get these filmed. See part of the wall right there. I'll probably come back in the winter to get a better view of it all. I can actually get in here a little bit. It's a flat area. See part of a almost like a little column style wall there. Alright, a little bit of a wall right there as well. When it's a little drier, and maybe in the winter time or the middle of summer, I'll come back and get a better view of it all. But it's kind of muddy and slick there. And I'll tag along for this little bit of the walk. That's the mill race down there. Okay, we're just up from the gunworks. Still looking at the mill race, but here's an interesting little piece of it. Right down there, you can see a piece of stone architecture with concrete on it. And I believe there was a sluice gate on there as well. That is the direction of the mill race. And it comes here. Now, if anybody's watching this and can correct me, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm going to hazard a guess and say it was to help control the amount of water that was going to the mills. If there was too much water coming down the sluice gate, or say a flood, they didn't want to damage the mills, they would open that sluice gate to allow some of the water out of the mill race, or to drain the mill race for maintenance as well. That's what I think it was. If anybody knows different, please, let me know in the comments, but I believe that was to help control the water of this mill race. Alright, we're going to continue down the mill race, and I'll bring you back when I get down to the mill. Okay, behind me is the mill, and I'll get to that in a moment. But here's another piece of signage for the Continental Powderworks. This one is talking about how to make the gunpowder, and you guys can pause it and read that for yourself. But if you look in that area right here, you'll see there's a National Guard outpost for a transportation company. If you look at this picture, they believe that the building you see here may have been one of the powder drying houses of the Continental Powderworks that survived into the 20th century. They believe it stood just at the edge of what is now the National Guard Armory property. So pretty much where that pile of wood is, and in this corner right here somewhere, is where it stood. Obviously, I'm gonna say the government tore it down to build that. But just another little piece of the powder mill. We are right next to Raps Dam Road, which is right there. That's the trail we came from. That's the covered bridge, Raps Dam Bridge right there. So over to the mill, this is the end of the mill race. It would come down along here, water would flow, and go right into there. It'd stop right in this area, flow right into there. It's the back of the mill. And right where this door is, I'm gonna stay on this side of the fence. That is where the water wheel was, that area there. You can get a better view of it down here. Snyder's Mill is what it's called. They do have a stabilization project in place. You'll see how bad this building was before they restored it. Right here is where the water would exit. Yeah, it was all built up here. The water would exit here, flow down here, under what is the road now, and exit over there towards swampland. And it's all eroded now, but I'm sure it was all dug out nice to French Creek right there. Front of the mill. And this is the mill works on French Creek. This was known as Snyder's Mill. If you look at this picture, that's what it looked like in 1990. Completely obliterated, with all the wood, stone losing its structure. That's what it looks like today. You guys can read that for yourselves. But it's come a long way. 1792, Casper Snyder Jr. bought the mill site and farmed the land. This all happened after the war. The only thing that was here before that was the Colonial Powderworks, and then the mills got built up. This is the only mill building left on the property. All right, I'll bring you back when I get to the other side. Okay, I'm on the other side of the road now. There is a lot of traffic that comes through that covered bridge. This is a parking area that you can park and take a look at all this stuff. It's a nice little place to fish, walk around, have something to eat. This is also the site of the Colonial Powderworks. Well, right over there, but we're on our way there now. And this tells you more about the mills, because there was a bunch of mills around here. This talks to you about the grist mill period. Picture right here telling you what the grist mill looked like in 1912. This photo was reproduced in the Miller's Review in 1935 when the mill burned. It was located just across Raps Dam Road on this site. So that building was located right across there where the cars are parked and all those trees are at. That's where that was located at. This mill, you can still see the ruins of this mill on Mill Lane off Hares Hill Road. I might try to get over there and get some pictures to put into the video. Not sure if I can do that or not. But that was the Kimberton Flour Mill, circa 1930. And that's what it would have looked like at this mill. That's why they put that there. That's what it would have looked like here at the same time before the mill burned. So, all right, let's head down to the Powderworks. And see, this is where the mill race deposited its water. I believe it was dug out a bit more and it flowed down through here till it connected with French Creek. But with 200 years of activity and road work, it doesn't look anything the same. This is a little dirty, so I don't know how well you'll be able to read it, but it shows the short but important life of the Continental Powderworks. Kind of wipe it off a bit. That's what they're saying they believe it looks like from what they've found. Peter Evans' house, which I believe is still there. Then you got the powder magazine, the village and barracks, stamping mill, grain mill, drying houses, upper mill race. That's where we walked. So I'll be honest, the way I'm looking at this, I think most of this is where the National Guard Armory is now, and the police barracks that are right over there, because that's the dam we were at earlier, and that's the mill race, and that's the ford. That's where Raps Dam is now. So we're standing right about here somewhere. So yes, this is all built up now. And the Powderworks were here from about 1776 to 1777, and that is about what the site looks like today. So you can see that if you kind of trace the water lines and stuff like that, it's all built up. That's the National Guard stuff. So that's how it is. But we're gonna head over to the site right now, and once I get there, if it's not too wet, you will see some of the ruins. But you know, this is pretty much what the site looks like now. That road, I don't think was on the map. I don't think that road existed during Continental times, because it was a ford. I believe it became a road during the colonial, during the Rev War, and it wasn't until the mills built up that it became a road. This tells you about what happened to the Powderworks. September 12th of 1777, in the disastrous aftermath of the Battle of Brandywine, Washington ordered the removal of all stores from the Powderworks. So basically, after Brandywine, Washington ordered everything removed here, all the gunpowder, everything that they could get. He was determined to keep all those supplies out of the hands of the army. And then the gunworks were moved to Hummelstown, PA, about 80 miles west of here. Those are the gunworks that we saw. And apparently they were never to return. The powder mill stores were hauled to Bethlehem, PA, in wagons. And then on September 22nd, 1777, a patrol of Hessian soldiers raided the powder mill. So in this whole area, Hessian soldiers raided the powder mill that was here. Like I said, that building and the National Guard Armory over there is all on the site of the colonial site. They smashed everything to pieces and set fire to the factory, and that ended the service of the powder mill, never to be rebuilt, never to be used again. It does show up on the spy map. You can see right there, Continental Powderworks, Valley Forge, Paoli, Brandywine Battlefield. It does show, they know it was here because it does show up on one of their spy maps. And then in 2012, archaeologists excavated a building foundation close to the sign. That's over there. We'll go see that in a moment. They found very few artifacts, yet they believe the building was part of the Powderworks. And you can see that right there. So we'll head over there now, and I'll bring you back once I get to the site. Okay, you can see it's quite neglected, but this whole area right here is the foundation slash basement of one of the buildings they believe to be Powderworks. It was 2012 that this was excavated. You can see a line of rocks right there. Those are foundation stones for a building, and it turns right there. And then you can see it continues on right up in that area there. So most of the building, I believe, that's the outside of the building, that's the inside of the building. I believe most of the building is underneath that embankment and that pile of dirt. But this sign explains more of what they found here. And I apologize for the wind, I'm trying to block it a bit. This place has long been known as the site of the Continental Powderworks, but details were missing. 1776, John L. Howell inspected the site, the largest powder mill in the colonies at the time, and he left a detailed description of what he saw. That's a sketch that he left of one half of the powder stamping mill. Compare it with the plan view at right of a stamping mill, and you can see that there. So they look similar. And that's what they think how big the wheels were, was basically 3 people high. And a powder mill, 102 feet by 31 feet, 8 inches, with 2 wheels in the center, each 18 feet in diameter. Each wheel worked 3 32.5 foot long shafts. And when archaeologists discovered a stone foundation with the same width that Howell described, 31 feet 8 inches, they knew they were onto something. The exposed structure is the northern half of the stamping mill that blew up in 1777. So they believe this is this. We're right about here right now. So this corner is that corner right there that I pointed out, right over there. Is that corner right there. So 31 feet 8 inches going that way, and 50 feet 6 inches going up along the wall. It's slightly catty-cornered, but all that right there is where the building was that the Hessians blew up. So it's preserved under the ground. This section is preserved for us to see, though it needs to get cleaned up so you can actually see what you're looking at. But that is the largest colonial powder works, and an important part of American history. And it's not much to look at now, but just imagine what occurred here. If it didn't occur, would we be the country we are today? Alright, and that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tagging along. And any comment, you can leave any comments and information that I missed. And if I got anything incorrect or you want to add to it, please feel free. I'm always willing to learn, and I want to give the proper information. So if I said something incorrectly, please feel free to give me the right information so that I can, if I do another video at this location or anywhere else, I know what I'm passing on. I do not want to pass on incorrect information. So once again, Colonial Powderworks and the Snyder Mill Complex. And I'll show you the covered bridge at very tail end of this video, but thank you for watching. Okay, and the last thing for this video is Wraps Bridge, covered bridge. It's the lead up to it, covered bridge itself. Does have some damage on it, I'm going to say, from some of the recent flood storms we've had. It's right in the middle, so guarantee that was hit a couple times. And then the opposite side. This location was a ford before the bridge got here. You can see how shallow the water is. I've walked through here. The highest it came was my calf. It was this whole area. So this was a ford before the covered bridge. And that's the covered bridge. It is reinforced underneath with I-beams. And there is a plaque here that I'll focus on so you guys can see. I love covered bridges. You can see how ornate it looks up there with the carvings and stuff. It was built in 1866 and rehabilitated in 2011. A couple idiot truck drivers have hit it and damaged it over the years. And like I said earlier, this was the location of that one mill that burned down. It's now a parking area. But here it is, Wraps Bridge. Chester County used to once boast at least 85 covered bridges. This one is the longest and one of the most expensive. This one cost about $3,600 when the county hired Benjamin Hartman to build it in 1866. Before 1866, people just crossed it as a ford. You know, by that time there was a road here, of course. And 1866, they got the bridge. Hartman used a method called a burr arch truss that allowed bridges to span unusually long distance. This is 105 feet in length. The combination of the arch plus the king post truss, which is the triangular shaped braces inside, make it stronger than it would be with just an arch or truss alone. Like I said, it was built in 1866. It's 105 feet long and 14 feet wide, and it was built just north of the saw and grist mills of George W. Rapp and his sons. Like I said, covered bridge, mills, sites. That's the view inside. I'm not going to go inside because it's still an active bridge. But the arch and trusses are original to 1866, but it's now reinforced with steel beams to support the weight of the modern traffic, and bridges were covered to protect the structure from weathering, hence covered bridge. Alright, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next videos.